In this video, we're going to look at how to use Pattern Grid at Craft Design Online to make a pattern with threads you already have. To do this, we will fill our colour palette with the thread colours we already have, and then use those colours to make the pattern. First, we'll check what thread types Pattern Grid knows about. At the moment it understands the DMC colour range, but there may be more in the future. Now we'll change the colour settings to give us 64 colours. It's useful at the moment to have this many spaces, even if we don't have that many threads. I have a collection of DMC threads left over from old projects. These can be added to the colour palette by using the DMC number colour source. Go through each of the skeins and type their number into the DMC code box. Type a number, press return, and it will be added to the palette. When you have added all your threads to the palette, it is a good idea to save the pattern and give the .grid file a memorable name so that the palette is ready for making more patterns in the future. Now that the palette is ready, I can make a pattern using these colours. Select a new tracing image from the tracing menu, click Choose File and open the photo. Resize the image to fit the pattern, then click the Magic Fill button. Let's see how the pattern looks. The pattern has been automatically filled in with the colours I have. Great! I can now make this. Sometimes you have threads that don't have a code that Pattern Grid knows about. I also have a collection of threads that are unbranded, and I want to make patterns with these. Pattern Grid can be used to find out what colours you have, and it can then use them. First, arrange your threads so that you can clearly see them, then take a photo of them and put it on your computer. Starting from an empty pattern, select New Tracing Image from the tracing menu, click Choose File and open the photo that you just took. We'll adjust the transparency to get a clear look at the threads. Select the Colour Picker tool and drag over the first thread. You'll see that a number of colours are added to the palette. Let's pick the one that best represents that thread, move it to the start and throw away the rest of the new colours, like this. We now repeat this with the second thread, and so on until we have a palette colour for each of the threads. Great! We now have a palette that represents our threads. It's best at this point to save the pattern so that we can reuse the palette in the future. And I should also note down which palette entry matches which thread. As before, I can use this palette to make a pattern. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoy using Pattern Grid at Craft Design Online.